Go for it.
All right, we are live here in Adorama with Coffee with Creators. This is the 100th episode, and there's a bit of a takeover going on. I'm Daniel Norton.
Look at how much man spread is going on. No,
this guy.
Hold on.
Mute
Actually,
this guy.
whoa. I
Mute
got
this
no.
guy.
Hold on. Let me start a timer for when I regret this. I know exactly.
I was told the guest should not speak until after I ask them about their coffee. You're in violation, sir.
I violated my life 20 years ago. Now I'm
Just
here.
do the thing here. Put Nikon up.
Okay, all right.
So we got a sponsor today. We got Nikon. Great cameras. Nikon's been around forever. Actually, there was just a guy in here the other day with a Nikon F, meterless F, and he was still shooting with it. So look that up. Not right now, after the podcast. And yeah, buy Nikon. They're awesome. Number 2, $10. Seth, even though I was never given a bag when I was a guest on this show, I'm going to give you this bag here. This is a special bag, hand sewn in Brooklyn.
It was not sewn in Brooklyn.
It says right, not Brooklyn.
It was designed in New York.
It was designed in New York. Back in
oh my God, Dan.
the early aughts.
Timber was started by a photographer right here in 1977.
1970s. Yeah, there you go. There's a bag. Free bag for Seth. If you would like a free bag too, come on the show. I mean, why not, right?
I never got one of these, so I'm psyched. I know exactly what I'm putting in this.
Me neither. I never got one either. It's really nice. You want to look at it?
You know how many bags you've gotten over the years? You want to start this?
Yes, I would like some bags. All right. And finally, Gotham. So let's get down to it. This is Coffee with Creators, and we're drinking coffee. Anytime I can get a free coffee, I do it, right? They're like, Daniel, you want to do something? Is there free coffee? Yes. Boom, I'm here. Gotham provided coffee. I have the classic black coffee with cream.
It's not black coffee, then, you mook.
What's Seth drinking? Predictably, I think it's a matcha. What do you got there, Seth?
Black cold brew.
All right, so this is Seth Miranda. We all know him by the moniker Last Ex-Witness. The X is silent.
Oh my God.
And so Seth has done a lot of crap. Like you see Seth, and you're like, this is the guy that does events. Seth was out there shooting BMX, shooting makeup, special effects, shooting commercial, getting his pages in magazines when he was a kid. Now he's here, right? Teaching you how to be a better photographer, right? So we're going to talk to Seth. We're going to dig into his, he told me not to do the backstory. So no backstory. If you want to know about Seth.
Oh my God, you have so many notes.
Look at my notes.
Oh my God.
Seth, tell me about your backstory. No, you don't want that. No,
I just feel like we're live all the time.
Right,
like
we're live all the time, and this is what I want to talk about, because we are live all the time, and we throw out these little stories about our careers, but we never really dig into it. So you started.
I hear about you complaining about your career every day. I don't want to hear any of that.
My career. I do have a career. No, but this is what I want to know, though, right? So you started off shooting BMX for the most part, right? But why?
Why did I start shooting BMX?
Yeah, why were you shooting? Like, what were you doing?
So I was a rat kid with a bike, and that's all I knew. And I had a camera. I said, "Oh, I guess I'll shoot the only thing that's in front of me." I broke my arm. I couldn't ride. And so I wanted to hang out with my friends. So in order to contribute to a tribe of riders, I was like, I'll just shoot so we have something, because it was just for us. I was like 13, so I didn't know what it was going to be. Yeah.
All right. So you were just running around taking shots, developing. Did you take photography in school, or where'd you figure out? Like,
no, I found a larger in the garbage. Nice. I didn't know what it was. Back then I was selling anything I could find to make money for anything I could get in my hands. And a guy just said, "Oh, I need a lens for this." And I was like, "What is this?" And then he told me, and I was like, "Oh, it's somehow not for sale anymore." Right. And I went to a library and I got a bunch of books out, and then I wrecked my parents' basement building a darkroom. I thought I invented dodging and burning.
Right.
And then I took a bunch of those photos. I shoved them in an envelope. I threw them into my favorite magazine at that time was Ride BMX magazine. And I got into the reader section, and I was like, this is something that can happen.
Right.
And I was like, everybody I rode with was like, wait, you can get me in a magazine? I was like, well, maybe I can. I don't know. So it was a really magic time where I didn't care about anything. there was no stress or pressure. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to do whatever I want. And if it sticks, it sticks. If not, I'll just go home. Like, whatever,
Yeah, and I think that's important, right? Because I think that a lot of people coming up today, they're just like immediately like, I got to get this, I got to get that, I got that. But you were just shooting because you wanted to shoot, and you were like, let's give it a shot, right?
I think everybody
let
does,
me
right?
get everything out there. It's like, yeah, but this idea that like you need to be Instagram famous before you can do anything.
There was no Instagram back
holds
then.
people back. Exactly, right?
There was a shoebox that Prince went into, and you were lucky if someone let you show it them. Union Square on right here, 14th and Broadway, every night. everybody who rode in the city. The BMX kids were on one side where Barnes & Noble was. The skate kids were on the other side where back then Virgin Records was.
Right.
And you didn't talk to each other too much. There were fights, but we were all in the same world, right? And you would all meet there and you would trade DV tapes and prints to find out where the next riding spots were, things you couldn't discover, guys you've never seen before. And I remember having a back pocket of like, I had the biggest jeans ever back then, and I had a back pocket full of 5x7 RC prints. And I would just try to find these kids that I shot last week.
Right.
And I'd get them the prints, and they would just thought it was the most awesome thing ever to have a print. Right. And people actually treasured it. Of course, they wrecked it because they put it in their pocket, went riding, whatever. I wonder if anybody has any of those prints, by the way. I would love to see what those were.
Yeah, if we can get like 50 of those prints, we'll do a show here at Adorama.
5x7 was a
25
really,
even.
It was a dope size. 5x7 was like a postcard.
Yep.
And I think it was the first time kids like that even saw themselves. Because when you ride, you have no idea what you look like.
Sure.
And you're wondering what your style's like. You're wondering how high you went. You're wondering what it really looked like. And you're trying to make it, like, style was so important. It wasn't just what you were doing. It was, the culture was all fueled by street cred. And how could you get street cred if you weren't doing it at a level, doing it harder, going faster? If you weren't reliable, you weren't a good guy. You know, there's a lot of things like that. So I still carry that to this day, all that kind of stuff.
All right, so let's talk about leveling it up, though, right? Because this is my segue, right?
I know the smile.
One of the first times I met you, we talked about Joe McNally, right, and speed lights, right? And we were talking about how you had read Joe's book, and that you kind of were using speed lights, and you were like, oh yeah, like I'm doing this, right?
So,
like you were lighting stuff, right? You weren't just out there shooting. Like,
no.
Okay,
That's a whole nother story. So first of all, I met Dan here.
Yeah.
I used to drag in a body bag full of gear. Like, I literally had no wheels on it. It was from an Army Navy store, and I would drive him nuts with, I'm trying to do this thing, but I don't know what the thing is. And then in that bag was Hot Shoe Diaries from Joe McNally.
Right.
And that was the only guy I ever found that was talking a language, because all I was talking to were other kids. Nobody knew how to shoot. I wasn't shooting commercial at that. That's a lie. I was assisting a little bit, but when I was riding, nobody was talking that, right? So you had GeoCity sites telling you bad information and all sorts of bad, like, no one knew it was true information or whatever, right? And it was all egos. They didn't want to share anything with you. It just sucked, right? And I had no money. So I kept on buying Vivitar flashes at every garage sale I could find. I would go on the train and just open up a newspaper and try to hit every garage sale to buy flashes. I just kept pointing them and fired. I didn't know.
Right.
But the thing that people don't understand is, back then, I used to send prints to a magazine. They would write me a letter back being like, this is cool, but I need you to send us slides, because that's what the magazines accepted. If I wanted real pages, I needed slides. What they don't tell you is slides, you got about a half a stop discrepancy, or you don't have a shot. Well, now you're trying to learn lighting with rolls of film that every time you shot was emptying out all the money you had.
Yep.
And, you're shooting late at night. Cops are coming. You can't do fast shutter speeds. You're like, so what do I do? How do I shoot this? And that's when I just started throwing strobes at things. And I was looking at every magazine, and I was, the biggest idols: Mark Lucy, Rob Dalecki, Jeff Zielinski, Ricky Adam, Will Smith. The list of photographers at the time were so amazing, and they were so giving with, hey, I don't know how to do this. How can I do this? And the reason they would teach you is because they knew the BMX culture could only survive if somebody else was shooting it somewhere else in this world. Right. And the only way we knew what we were doing was in those magazines. They were Bibles. Yeah. And you got in that magazine, you were a god. And I remember going to Barnes & Noble and clearing out the rack every time I was published and just handing it out to every rider. And then I realized, like, oh, now no one can buy this magazine. Like, it doesn't exist, I don't know. I just ranted on a tangent there. What was the question?
All right. You always rant. That's kind of your thing. Yeah.
No, it was a real magical time that I wish I could get back. And I think maybe that's what I'm constantly trying to strive for, is to get to this point where it doesn't mean a paycheck. It's not for somebody else's look, or an art director yelling at the back of my head while I'm doing it, or for a video or whatever. Like you said, just go shoot without a video. And I'm like, what is that?
Right.
What concept is that anymore?
What's interesting is, right, there wasn't an art director there, right, because you're shooting editorial, right? So you're off your shooting on spec, but you still had to think about what they wanted, right? Yeah. So you're forming your style, but you're also thinking about, okay, but what sells, right? What's in the magazines now? What can I do that's different? What can be added to that, right?
Well, you want
kind of working it.
You wanted something that would get in a magazine, because they need to show the West Coast what East Coast was doing.
Right.
So I need to show them, like, the sickest spots. Is that Jim Zielinski in the chat? What's up, man? It was a telegram to the rest of the community of what we were doing, and New York had to be on top.
Right.
And it was, if you rode, you automatically had a friend. You're just like, hey, I recognize that bike. You must ride. I see your knees are skimmed up. I see your shins are beat up. We must be in the same world. And then you can go shoot. And next thing you know, years later, you're tied together somehow because that page is immortal. In fact, I have a video coming out. I wish I tried to finish this weekend, but I can't. There was a major article in 2001 that changed my career. And I'm putting out a video about it because I spent $100 to buy this magazine because I couldn't find an online archive of it. And I found one guy in Portland that had it. So stay tuned for that, and that'll really explain that magazine era. I don't want to like just talk about BMX, but like I hope everyone gets a chance to have that era, whatever you shoot, where you just are, it's part of exactly what you're doing, not just that you shoot or that it's for something. Like it's parallel and in the DNA of whatever you're actually doing in life. You'll never shoot more meaningful shots or develop a foundation stronger than that, I believe.
Yeah, 100%. I think that when we're learning, right, especially because we both teach, right? So we'll talk about that a bit. But you know, people are coming, they're wondering like the technique or what's the f-stop or these things, and we're showing them that because obviously the technical is important. But at the same time, if you're not building your life around it, if you're just copying something because you think that's what people want to see, then it's not your life. And if it's not your life, then how can you really put your full soul into it and make those shots? Like there's a question in here: what would you do if you weren't a photographer? I don't think Seth could be anything else, but maybe a doctor.
No, actually, I was going to do metalwork.
Really?
I got really into welding. I got really into like lathe work.
Oh, interesting.
And I actually got a whole set of jeweler tools because I thought I could make money doing jewelry for some weird reason. My dad's an engineer. My uncle's a nuclear physicist. I don't know what happened to my gene pool at this point, but
it ran out.
I just totally thought that I could just work with my hands for the rest of my life, but doing that metal work would have kept me in that shop forever. Just like when I screen printed shirts for 15 years, I was in that shop for 15 years between jobs, right?
Yeah.
But nothing is taking me more places, I mean, literally and figuratively, than a camera.
Yeah.
You are invited into places you never would have gotten into. You get closer to people you never would get closer to. You get flown to places you never thought you'd get flown to for good and bad reasons.
Right.
But I think back all the time, like as hard as this is, if there wasn't a hard level to it, there would be no honor in it. If there's no honor to it, I wouldn't still be doing it. And I think that's probably why I kept sticking with it. Plus, like girls, you know, I was like, so,
okay,
you know,
yeah. I mean,
it's
you
like,
know, there is a certain. I mean, that's a joke, but obviously there is. And you talked about it a little bit. There is that the social aspect of photography, right? To which is very nice when we're shooting. Especially if we shoot people or events or anything like that, we are interacting with people. And I think that that's a big part of why I'm in photography.
You are such a jerk till you start shooting somebody. Like, it's amazing. You're so shut down. And then once you're in it, you're like, the dumb jokes come out and all this stuff. Like you click in, you know, you could have the worst day ever. I've watched you come in and I'm like, I'm going to punch Dan in the face. But as soon as you're 5 minutes in, you're back. And same thing with Joe McNally. When Joe starts shooting, that dude's 15 again, and I'm getting exhausted.
Yeah.
I set it's time. Thinking it would be 13 minutes till I regretted this. You beat the timer, Jen. Congratulations.
Wow. All right. 13 minutes in, and we're not dead yet.
No, but like, I think this is such a personal craft. You're documenting other people's worlds that if you get good at it and the technical starts going away and you can actually enjoy it. Same thing with riding. Like, I was never the best rider and it was very frustrating. You get hurt, that's another month till you can try it again, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Here, it's like you get the technical out of the way, you're just enjoying it. If you could ride well, you're enjoying it, like anything like that, right? So I think I was just fortunate. I think we were fortunate enough that this clicked for us. We're nerds, man. We get the math down, we got the science down, we get into the tech, but then that's a philosophy level. And I think that's, you know, I can't believe how much you write. I mean, the amount of like,
yeah,
every time I've seen you had a book on you or something like that. You were more than just like a technical guy, but I think you got pigeonholed as that technical guy for a long time. And then you did the porch talks and people are like, oh, there's a mind behind that pretty face. And we got to know you, you know?
Yeah, no. And I think that's important, right? Because we often are teaching the technique because the more philosophical stuff is harder to teach, right? It's also harder to search for, right? So talking about like the world we're living in now, it's like if you're out there and you want to do a presentation or you want to do a YouTube video, to say, hey, I'm going to talk about something philosophical, is not going to be found as quickly as where do I put my softbox, you know? And like how we decide, that's one of the things I have in my book. I didn't have to look, I remembered. Like, how do you decide on some level like what you teach, right? Because we have the choice, right? With this, is there, and this is different, right? Because I know we talked about this earlier. You teach differently on YouTube. You teach differently in events. Like, what goes through your head when you're thinking about what you want to present?
Are you just trying to annoy me right now?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
So Dan knows I've been struggling with, I have no idea what to do with topics anymore.
There we go.
I don't like sticking to things. Organization freaks me out. I don't, everything has to happen now, right now on the spot. I guess that's why live streaming just went really, clicked for me, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. But the second I go like, we're going to do this topic and I have to stick to that, I'm like, no, I want to do this now. I'm 5 minutes deep. I'm bored. I want to do that, you know? And I think that's a format that we're so lucky to have in this era is like, okay, right in the moment when it's happening, not you and me both know what it was like to watch some schmucks up here. No, I'm sorry. Some guys do,
very nice people.
They were doing very performative, rehearsed, overly, like, it wasn't real.
Right.
It just wasn't. And people would end up going to these demos forever. And I'm not just saying here, like in the industry overall. And you would, after a few years, they would come to me and Dan and be like, I haven't gotten any better. Yeah, because you're not really watching something that's reality. You know, you got to get into you got to get filthy. You got to get in that mud, you know, like the stuff that you and me have done in our careers to just get through a job. Right. I mean, the amount of glass I've had to lay in for things like just forget it. You know, it happens, but you've only got 3 seconds shooting BMX. The only times cops are coming and I had to leave my flashes and run. Like, and then I know that's like a year of money I got to find somewhere out there back then, right? So like, you're either in this or you're not. And I think when I try to teach something, I don't care about the topic as much as watch what's going on, feel the demeanor, understand the thought process, the philosophy of it, and also know it's only my version of it because me and him share same, I don't know, I don't want to say style, but tact level or like whatever. Like we're in the same vein, but we shoot completely different.
Yeah, very different.
Very different. But I think we've pulled from each other the right ways. I also think that now, especially like the kids that sit in these seats, they don't have what we had where you were around other photographers training your eye. Forget the buttons, forget the lenses, forget the presets they sold you, forget all that stuff.
Now it's LUTs. Get some LUTs.
No, now it's masterminds. They got to sell you a mastermind program, mastermind. And they'll sell you a timeshare next. No, it's a matter of like being around it and picking it up so it organically becomes the way you do it on your terms with a result you're happy with. And if you're trying to make a living at this, a result that has a value to it that someone will give you a job for.
Yeah, like what I see when I watch you present is not that you're teaching how to do something, but why you do it. Yeah. Right. Like when you're digging into it, you're like, yeah, sure, I could put a light here, but why am I putting this light here? And why that is so much more important and powerful, I think, from an instructor is that they can take that anywhere. Right. It's like the classic thing when people ask us what our settings are. It's like, unless you're shooting in this space with this model exactly in this space, it doesn't matter what our settings are. The
second they say that, I'm like, this demo is lost on you, my child. Like you're not getting any of this. Right. Like it just, and look, you should always ask me whatever questions are on your mind. I totally, and this is such a crazy era that you need to know something. You can find it out. Oops, what did it just hit? On the spot, buttons. You can find it out. And more often than not, you can find a physical example of it. Me and him had to go through like months of hoping they would set up that one thing so I could look at it again and figure out like, well, why is it like that? And then they would tell you a month later after you beat yourself up, proving that you were worth teaching it to, right? Now, we can't give more of this information away if we tried, right? Like we're trying to keep this community and industry going any way we can. We do the critiques here just so that people stop thinking about how we do it. But what did you already do? Right. Where are you at? What are you looking at? How are you looking at it? Right. And it gets hokey, I think, when we start talking that way, like let's talk about the philosophy of it and stuff like that. But it's like, listen, I'm very upfront. I don't care about this lovey-dovey romance of the industry stuff, but I think philosophy gets roped into like, oh, it's the art. No. Give me a reason. Why is this? But like, and that's where I struggle, I think. I don't know where we're going with this. I didn't realize how much I tangent when I talk to you.
Yeah, you are a tangent.
This is like my 7th cup of coffee.
This is why I have my list.
It's your list.
No, but I just think this is really important because one thing that right away when I first met Seth and you were coming in with your Speedotrons.
Oh my God, yeah.
It was constantly about chasing something and like little bits of pieces of gear that you were looking for to make something a little bit better, right? Like I'm trying to get the light exactly in this position, or I'm trying to figure out how to get this thing. And you could tell right away that like you were chasing a shot that was in your head and not just capturing what was there, which is what we see a lot, right? I see a lot of special effects pictures, or let's say pictures of models wearing special effects. I don't see them like you said. I mean, you dig into them, and when you actually look at Seth's work next to somebody else's, you can see the difference. And part of it is that you're a technical master, but part of it is you look at these things and you go, why? What is, if they're on this alien planet, or they're this zombie, or they're, you know, they're having a face come out of their chest or whatever, what's going on here?
Yeah, but
what would it be like?
That came from the reason I was so fortunate to have a career in FX was nobody was taking it seriously.
Right.
They thought it was a joke. I'm like, that face is $3,000 and
Right.
probably 3 weeks of sculpting.
Mhm.
And you're going to, I'll just light it from underneath because this book told me about monster lighting. Shut up. Just shut up. Like, why? What is it? And don't just throw the light, elevate the light. Figure out the fill now. Okay, so cool. You got your shadow pattern. Now make it look worth looking at. And I watched makeup artists after makeup artists pour their entire everything into it. You think we spend a lot of money on gear? The amount of time and energy and money that they spent to bring something they're not even sure is going to come out of a mold correctly. Right. And then you are the last line of it being around past that point. And you're going to treat it like Party City catalogs. And how's Party City doing? Right. So, and that was a reference for people here that understand the Party City. Right. But the special effects thing was such a perfect match for what I was doing, from the comic book stuff, all the film stuff that I was doing, docudrama stills, cinematic stills, which we're doing later today, by the way, 5 p.m. on the Events channel. Plug.
Check it out.
Boom.
Man, put a
QR code. In the end, when you shoot, don't you always shoot with the intent that it's got to last forever?
That's right.
And that's how I approached FX. And I think once I did it a few times and to the right people, they booked me again, booked me for the other things underneath that, got campaigns, all the other stuff, right? There we go. Oh, I got to unlock that.
Yeah, there we go.
All right. But it drives me nuts when I see someone just throw a light at FX. And then I know after that shoot that makeup never existed again. You know, you actually have, you offended one of my makeup artists one time. You know that, right?
I offended them.
This girl was in my studio and I'm shooting. I think it was probably like a pre-Halloween thing. And Dan walks in, he walks right past me while I'm shooting, right up to the model. And I'm like, and he looks at it and he turns to me and he just laughs. And then he goes, and I guess I didn't realize the makeup artist was right here. And he said, "It's funny how much better you make it look." And that girl's face, but to be fair, what you guys don't realize is a lot of things are created to cheat for camera.
Well, yeah, exactly.
All right. Yeah. But you got to learn some.
If they want to make it in this industry, they got to, accept a little criticism.
Oh, there's a bunch of stuff.
But I do think that like there's this point where it's easy, right? In a sense, like somebody sees a really cool makeup, or sees a puppy or a baby or a beautiful girl, and they just took a snapshot, and your average civilian, to use your character, will look at it and just be like, "That's awesome." But they don't see that next level of it. And I think if you really want to actually make it and really go forward in this industry and make a name for yourself, you've got to dig in. Don't just take the accolades because you happen to be the person that got asked to shoot this cool thing. Make that thing special. Make it have a story.
I think one of the things you say, shoot till it gets bad. Or like Joe McNally always say, like, after you think you got it, keep going. And I think everything, no matter what I've shot, no matter what year of my career, I didn't want to leave it there. I just knew there was another, because after this, it's not over. It's never over. After you think you got somewhere, then the real work begins, because now you got to maintain this level. And it's like, they never let you go home, Right. So it's like, but
lives here.
I know, right? But the reality is that you are the only thing that's going to stop you. You really are.
Right.
And now you can self-publish. You can create your own platform. So if you're wondering, like, why is no one hitting like on my work? Figure it out. Go build something else. Put it out there a different way. Why aren't people connecting with your work? What isn't there? And I think we lost that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think you've got to seek out like-minded people and work and become part of a community, which is something else I would say. My segue. I'm good with segues. Maybe not. You're not supposed to call it out, I guess, when you segue.
What?
All right. So community, right? I would say that when I came into Adorama to produce the, there's a question about how we got connected. I was working as a pro, and I got asked to make Adorama a pro shop, to come in as the pro. And we started a pro division. That's how I met Seth. But one of my big focuses always was and still is on community. And when I went to just be a host for a while, Seth took that ball and ran.
No. Hold on. No.
Yeah.
I didn't go like, gee, Dan, let me take over for you.
But you did it.
No, yeah. Well, look. Okay. First of all,
without being asked.
Okay.
Or maybe somebody asked you, not me.
The exact line I remember is, "Hey, you're good with gels, right? I want to take a vacation. Could you do a demo on gels?" That's the line I remember.
And he was.
No, but back then, when I came in to see Dan, everybody was an enemy. Like, everyone's going to take my job. I need to shoot everything. Like, I was so aggressive to work because I wasn't working and I wanted to make a career, right? You go to every magazine, drop up a portfolio. You take it from that, go to another one, right? I still screen the cover for it and everything, but you had to go the extra mile to stand out, right? So when I came in here and you were like, "Hey, you should talk here," and I was like, "No, I don't even show my face or use my real name."
Yep.
And back then,
his real name is not Seth Miranda.
Yeah, no, it's Seth Miranda. And you were like, "Well, I'll pay you," and I was like, "I'll be there Thursday," and then I was like, "I don't really talk; I shoot." And then I realized that this was even a format. This wasn't a thing, right? Like,
right.
You'd be on a set for like, I don't know, Viacom or something back in the day. And someone would be like, "Hey, you're going to go see Dan later?" It was like a Thursday. And I'd be like, what is Daniel doing on Thursdays? And then it became like this, like, yes, you were doing a class, but we came here to hang out. I saw guys from the Daily News. I saw guys from the Times. I saw all these guys I assisted for when I was younger. And they were like, "Hey, what are you doing now? You need a job. I got another thing." Like, you'd pick up from each other. And Dan's just messing with speed lights with a bunch of Muay Thai fighters in here or something like that.
That's what I do.
And then the space got built because people were showing up for it. Chairs went down. Then the cameras went up. Then they streamed it. And not to get too deep into it, but I lost a lot of contracts in my commercial career. In 5 days, I lost all my commercial. The bulk, I'd say about 75% of my income went away in 5 days. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And I was teaching here every 3 weeks or so. And the guy that was running the place was like, "I got to get out of here. You want this?" And I was like, "I don't know how to run any of this. I don't know audio, streaming. I don't know any of this." And I was like, "I still got rent to pay. So yeah, I'll totally take this." I came in here. I tore all this apart and rebuilt it till I figured out how it worked.
Yep.
And then every time Dan went live, I figured out how to switch it cleaner and figured it, all that kind of stuff. And it was horrible. I did a bad job. I was horrible at it. And then I got to build this space twice, which was very cool. But the community thing, like, I was against everybody. It was me against everybody. But I don't know, like, I needed Dan's help on some things. I needed the clean version of what I was doing. And I think when you started getting that for me, I was like, well, maybe it's not so bad if I got like one guy I can kind of like, whatever. And then I think we got each other jobs back then. I think so.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. I think that, but ultimately, that's where we go, right? And what's funny is talking about your origin story, which you told me not to do. You already had community, right? When maybe you wouldn't even be photographers, but you had a community of like-minded BMX people when you started, right?
Yeah,
but then when you go off and become professional, you silo, right? And I think that's dangerous. I think that what we need to do is have a community as pros, so that we can grow and help each other out.
I think what happens is you're the one guy doing the one thing in a group of something that's not that. So now you're a photographer on other photographers, and you're like, "That shot sucks. I can do better than that." Or, "Why is that guy so much better than me?" Or, "Why is he working so much faster than I ever could?" Or, "Why is this guy getting picked up for those jobs and I'm not?" And then that's where the psychosis comes in. That's where you're like, "All right, let me sharpen up some knives and get going here because I got to figure this out." But you don't know what to do. No one's telling you how to do this. Freelance there's no guide. It is scary as hell. You're wondering if you're chasing invoices from 3 months ago to pay rent that you needed to figure out. Like, it's scary. And then your lens breaks. Now what do you do, right? And I would come in here and you'd help me out. Actually, a long time ago, I shot 110 Bride of Frankenstein sculptures for
that was awesome.
St. Jude Children's Hospital. They were going to auction them all off, but they needed them all shot. So I didn't know this. I went out to Monsterpalooza, which was like a horror type convention in LA. And I met the guy who was running it, and there was a little museum of it. And out of a backpack, I built a studio, and they just started shooting everybody's work. And then he was like, "I'm going to fly you back out, and you're going to come and do this." So in 24 hours straight, I shot that. But I couldn't have done it if I didn't come here to see Daniel. And Daniel's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "This." And he's like, "That's insane." I'm like, "I don't know how I'm going to do it. I have no gear to do this with." He talked to the manager here. That manager gave me 4 Pro Photo lights, extra batteries, a case right out of stock, not off display, not beat up, not used. I put it on a plane. I went over there. I came back. Everything was beat to death. Dan didn't ask me one question. That manager didn't ask me one question except, when's the book coming out? Can we have it here? What happened? Do you have any video of it? Didn't even care. And that case was wrecked, man. Like, and I'll never forget that. I was like, I guess you have to kind of prove to yourself that some things are possible. And sometimes those things are just like collaborative. It's not just, can you do it yourself, but we ask, try, see what's up, you know? I'll never forget that because that was a lot of money back. That was when B1 first came out, remember?
Yeah.
That was scary. I tried to contact Cliff. Cliff, you didn't email me back.
Yeah, Cliff.
Yeah, Cliff. That project was so tough. And actually that was the first time I had a disc problem on my back after that job.
Oh, yeah.
So,
sorry about that. I should have given you lighter lights.
Well, you're hunched over for 24 hours shooting sculptures of Elsa Lanchester, which was really cool. I mean, I got to work for the effects artists behind Alien and stuff, and I see what they would do as like a project for themselves and then auction it off to make one of them turned the Bride of Frankenstein head into, Frankenberry cereal. So they made her into that and packed it in Frankenberry cereal.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Until you open up the box and it's full of ants. So it was just cool being around that many creatives at that level. And but that wouldn't have happened had I not shot on my bike with a broken arm. Right. And it evolved, you know. I mean, I got to do. I brought this thing in.
Oh yeah, should we look at that?
You want to do it?
Yeah.
Right. So
for you kids out there.
On the Monday stream, I talked about how I made a giant print with a mop and bucket full of chemicals. I found the print. So this was shot with this exact Olympus stylus Epic, which was the size of a roll of film, which still has film in it, and a battery, but it also had a hard clamshell, so you could put it in your pocket and fall if you were on your bike or whatever. But this was, I threw it in larger on its side, and I stood on this paper with my feet, and I mopped it with D76? No.
That's developer.
That's developer. Whatever.
Chemicals.
Yeah.
Not coffee.
Take the other side.
I'd stand, but there's 1,000 wires over here.
So that's through my handlebars when I was 19, I think. And there's actually footprints on the corners. I'm scared to take the tape off of it because it was taped to a warehouse wall for a long time. But this is RC paper. But this was like how far you went because you were just doing cool. This wasn't for a magazine. I wasn't getting paid. You know, we all chipped in to buy a giant roll of paper and we all made prints that day, you know?
Yeah, that's so cool.
You know? This is the first time I unraveled this in like probably 12 years. So it's got a lot of grime on it.
You know, and what's interesting about that too is that we see, and I've been talking about a lot, talking to Seth Miranda about more and more people shooting film and analog again, but this is kind of part of the draw of that, I think, is the physicality of it. Like beyond this, like, do you print much of your stuff anymore? I mean, like new stuff?
God, I feel so guilty now. No,
a lot of people don't.
Yeah, but to be fair, if you look at any of my streams or anything in my house, that my entire wall, every inch is covered in a print I did.
Right.
And it's from an era. I mean, you're talking about, you guys have to realize I didn't just do photo. Like I used to take my images and process them into watercolor paper, mount them on resin coated pieces of scrap wood I found and bolt them to traffic signs around the city. And every now and then someone sends me a picture of one from like 2005 or something. I'm like, wow. Awesome. Or I used to cut my images into stencils and spray them all over the city. And you actually did stencils for you. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Early Adorama project.
But all that came from because I needed money for film. And so at Union Square, I would show up with a stack of t-shirts I bought from Canal Street. I'd spray bleach stencils on it that said Last Witness on it. And I would try to make, I don't know what this is. I would try to make some money so I could go buy a roll of film in hopes that I would get a page that I get paid to go do this again. And that's all I knew. There wasn't like there wasn't a plan, dude. Like I don't know where this was going, but I just knew I was doing what I wanted to do. And I don't know where that went. I think once you start doing it for other people as a professional, it's hard to get that back. You know what it's like. We're very grateful to do what we do, but it's still a job and it's for other people most of the time. So when you want to think about a project you want to do, I did 25 years of projects that meant something to someone somewhere that were in galleries and all that stuff. I don't know. What do I want to do next? I don't know. But I do know that if I have something in front of me and I got a bunch of lights, I'm going to make something happen and it's going to last.
Right.
That's all I know.
No, that makes sense. So somebody's asking about the print, how big of it and larger. So explain just how you did it, because I think people who don't.
You guys, so first of all, I filed out the negative carrier.
You have to do that.
You gotta do that to be cool. You can't, if you don't file out your negative carrier, you're not cool. I ripped off the base plate and I pushed it on its side. So now it's projecting this way. So it basically becomes a projector onto its wall. You focus it. You try to find the flattest wall you can, taped up the paper. I remember trying to find a piece of glass to press against. I was like, that's not going to happen.
Keep it flat.
I think I tried to steal like a door and it just wasn't going to happen. We stole a lot of stuff back then. Like we used to steal election signs and make ramps out of them. And then that ended up as a 2-page spread and write in Dig magazine, my favorite spreads ever. Anyway, project it, take it off the wall. And then we laid it on the floor and I took a mop with 3 different buckets and I mopped it till it was developed. I squeegeed that off. Mopped it with stop, squeezed it off, and then I mopped it with fix and let it sit. And I kept on pushing it around because, you know, it's RC, it'll separate.
Right.
And then washing it sucked. I mean, I put it into a barrel and just kept on like pushing it around.
I could imagine. Well, that's why you did RC paper. So RC resin coated paper, you don't have to wash as long. Like a fiber paper, that would be tricky to wash long enough.
And it would curl. If it was fiber paper, it would
way.
actually just like crack after a while.
Yeah, there's no way you would have to keep it flat.
Then there's dry down. It gets 10% darker when you dry down. So you got to figure that out. And this was, you bought a whole roll of this and it was like me and 10 other people and we had to pick 1 image a piece because that's all the length we had.
Sure. Yeah.
So I was like, please work.
Right.
You know, like, and if it didn't, who cares? Right. Like you tried it, you know, it's just one of those moments. Like when you're looking down on a mop full of chemicals and your shoes getting wrecked, you're like, does it get better? Like where do I go for, what am I going to do after this? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. And I miss that a lot because for me, like, even though I was never a really big darkroom person, though I did transfers and some of that kind of stuff, I hate sitting in front of my computer processing,
yeah, me too,
doing Photoshop, adding all this stuff. But I would sit in a dark room and mess around and dodge and burn and or do alternate processes.
It was so tranquil. The water running, the amber light. I used to have a TV in one of my dark rooms, and I had an amber gel in front of it. And I would play Tombstone on loop, you know, because I could see it in my head, but if I heard it, you know. I never played music. I always played movies.
Oh, that's so interesting.
All Scorsese, Fight Club, all that stuff, you know.
Oh, with an amber gel.
Yeah.
Like a white TV or color?
It was a color TV, but I put like the thickest, dense. It was one of those gels that went on a safe light.
Ah, okay, yeah.
And the TV was like, you know, it was corner store, you know, garbage, you know. Sell more T-shirts. I actually did put out T-shirts recently. I just don't make any money on them. I make $1 a shirt, but I just wanted to put out Brooklyn Reflector shirts for you guys. I don't know why I'm doing the Jeffrey Berliner turning away again. I'm sorry, guys. Now I know what it's like being a guest on here.
Seth's turning away from you.
Yeah.
I would never do that.
Yes. Oh, sure. What else you got, Dan?
All right. So let me look at my list. Let me see if we got it all.
BMX for life. Who's riding in this chat, man?
All right. So even though it's kind of history based, what I'm curious about, and again, this goes back to the shooting, because I think this is one of the struggles that people have when they're coming into this, right? Is that it all seems like we're just doing projects and it's all wonderful, but if you're working here, let's say at Adorama, and you're producing content, sometimes we have to produce content for cameras, lights, other items that we don't see until just before.
What are you talking about?
Right?
No, we get all the time in the world, Dan. What are you talking about?
They're in beta, right?
Yeah.
You know, you got to come up with some kind of an idea to crank it out. And like sometimes it's awesome. Like your first, I think, NPA was at the 850.
The D850. Yeah, that was very cool.
Yeah, and that you had some time, and there was like a whole elaborate. Well, yeah, you shot.
What are you talking about?
You shot a makeup here.
Okay.
Tell us how you had no time.
Okay. You know what? How do you do something?
It's being filmed here.
First of all, I get a call.
Okay.
From you guys, and they go, "Are you available tomorrow?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's overnight. That's time.
Yeah, that's time, right? First of all, I never did an NPA, so they can't tell me what it is. And they're like, this is literally the line. You do cool stuff. Do you want to do something cool on camera? And I was like, can you define cool stuff? And it's like, can you get a makeup artist and do something detailed? And I was like, all right, fine, but I need a model. And they were going to cast Marissa. Mm-hmm. And I was like, I don't know. I know Marissa and she's all over the place. I don't think she can sit for 3 to 5 hours. And to her credit, she totally did. And she was amazing. Mm-hmm. I called up Katrina, my makeup artist, and I came in here. And then they pull a V flat over and they go, here's a D850. They didn't even tell me any specs. They just said shoot with it. And I was like, okay, cool. And I looked at the serial number and it said 00009.
Right.
And then the other one's at 00011. And back then, Nikon didn't even let you keep the photos. You had to give them the photos, then they send them back to you. So you get a chance to look at your images. But I didn't know what a prototype camera would act like. Boy, did I find out. Yeah. Right. And it was just a cool experience. And then I remember being done and I was looking at Lana and I go, now what? She's like, well, tell us what you think about it. I'm like, just say what I want. What do you want me to say? She's like, whatever you want to say. And I was like, what? Like I was like, I thought these were scripted. And she's like, just tell us what you thought about the camera. And I just did it. And I think it went well. Also, if you watch that video, I was so sick. My voice is detract. My eyes are red. My hair's all freaking out. It was such a bad day, but I shot it all with speed lights because it was a Nikon NPA. So I shot it with all Nikon speed lights. The Blue Alien. That was the start of the Blue Alien. Then everything was a Blue Alien. Everybody needed to do Blue Aliens. But it was cool. Yeah, the D850 was very, very cool. And then I learned what NPAs were, but we've had some dicey NPAs, man. We've had 3D printed parts. We've had stuff with no menus in them. I did the Z7 launch. That was crazy. That camera was basically not finished at the time. I know Nikon's sponsored, but like, come on, dude.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens, right?
It's what happens. It's what it is.
Remember was it the Pro Photo Flash with the upside down?
So Pro Photo gives us the A1. And we're on a roof somewhere. And he turns it on. All of a sudden, all the interface goes upside down and backwards. So we're pulling out our phones and we're using it like a mirror like this to figure out how to work a flash that we've never even used before. Yeah. And it worked out.
Yeah.
I think that's the honor of it, though. It's not that you just shoot great. It's that you're able to troubleshoot on a set for a production.
Right.
If you can't do that, you're not doing this.
Well, and you're giving it a fair shake, right? It's like you've got the thing. It is a prototype. It's not perfect, but you're trying to kind of get a feel for what it really is as best as you can with what you've got in front of you. You know, you don't get to live with it, right? So you don't get to dig into every detail, but you can kind of look at it. The more of these you do, you get a sense of what's important, right? What you want to show in the camera or light or whatever.
Well, I think it's funny because after talking to like Ricci from Nikon, if you're watching this, he was like, you have to realize that everything in those cameras and lights and everything, there's a human decision behind that. Why did they decide to do it that way? And once you start looking at it that way, you go, oh, this doesn't have this. It's stupid. It's like, well, if they did that, it would be slower. If they did this, it would be more expensive. If they did this, it'd be bigger. Like there's always a trade-off. And not that you're trying to give the benefit of the doubt and like tell you guys to buy everything, because we tell you all the time we don't care what you guys buy.
Yeah.
But we do need you to understand, before you hate what something doesn't have, understand the design that it is for what it is and why it is what it is. And then I think you'll understand the equipment more and what to expect realistically. Because as fun as rumors are, I think they hurt us more than anything, where people are like, why doesn't it read my thoughts? Right. It's on Sony Alpha Rumors. It said it would read my thoughts.
Right.
Why doesn't it read my thoughts? World Hunger Mode was omitted. What happened here? And it's like, are you kidding me? Like, breathe.
Yeah.
What we have is incredible. You're watching us in 4K live streaming in something I could fit in my palm.
Right.
Like, respectfully, shut up, you know? Like, it's crazy. Like, if you think about where we're at and like how spoiled we are for what you're able to get your hands on at any price level, it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. And I remember going into meetings and being like, so who's this for?
Right.
And the rep would always be like, well, everyone.
So a fashion designer once said, like, she said to me, like, oh, when I said that, she goes, yeah, that's like the equivalent of when we say, where is she going when they design something? Where are they going? It's like, well, what is this camera for? It's like, yeah, it's a sports camera, so it's going to have this and not this. Years ago, flagship cameras, you knew someone didn't know what they were talking about, and they were like, why is the most expensive camera the lowest res?
Right.
And I'd be like, because they need the speed.
Right.
Now we have processors that handle speed and resolution, but back then you had 16 megapixels for a $5,000 DSLR, and you're like, why? You know,
right, and that's a good example. It's like you've got your sports photographer that wants fast, and then you've got your, let's say, studio photographer that wants more megapixels, right? And everything is for each person. You just kind of decide what works for you. But I think that's one of the tricks that people don't see. And I myself, I used to look at product reviews and magazines and stuff, and you'd be like, well, they couldn't have done a better job with that. But now you get a camera, and you're just like, oh, I see why.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's held together with Scotch tape here. Yeah, but again, it's prototype, like you say, 3D printed, like just stuff that's not.
It's also an honor to be included in that development, right? Yeah. Like they trust you to handle a prototype, and then they want to hear your thoughts on it, or they show you what they're thinking about doing, and they go, well, "What do you think of this?" Right. Like that is such a massive respect level to even be included in those conversations. I can't thank the brands enough for doing that. or even wanting our insight at all. Like, it's unbelievable, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's important, and I think they're smart to do it. Honestly, I mean, it's a two-way
I think
street.
we're ignoring this chat really bad.
Oh, we're ignoring.
Sorry,
your
guys.
chats.
I know there's like a bunch of questions in the chat. I'm so sorry. Oh, Matthew's grip is in the chat.
Oh,
What's
hey
up,
there.
Martine? Tony, thank you so much. He's saying it's a privilege to be able to come here and hang out with you two today. I genuinely appreciate the knowledge you share and the community that you both have built. Thank you. Keep it rocking. Well, you guys don't realize we can't do this unless you show up, right? If you're not in these chats or in those comments or giving us view counts, we go away. We actually just disappear. We're like Bing Bong in that movie. We just go away. You know, I know you do too, but like it's a 50-50 partnership. Like when we do a video, we think about who's going to view this and what they would want to see.
Right.
You know?
No, I think that is important, right? And I think that's always what you're doing as a creator, right? Whether you're making videos or you're shooting, right? You're shooting for a makeup artist, you're shooting for a fashion designer, you're shooting for a catalog that produces furniture, right? You've done some stuff, and right, you basically,
IKEA days.
right, you know, like who your client is. So, you know, in some ways, that's it, right? We try to know who's watching these and what they're looking for, and we try to give you what we think is the important part. You know, from our experience.
Well, I think the most fragile thing is people getting discouraged over the dumbest stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have this lens or whatever. Who cares? Do you have something to shoot with? Great. Now, what are we trying to do? Now, how can we get closer to that? You know, I think people get discouraged over other people's egos, discussions that they feel over their head.
Yeah.
Do you want to go shoot? Then go shoot. Like, no one's stopping your finger from hitting that shutter release button but you. No one's stopping you from carrying your camera with you but you. No one's stopping you from going somewhere to shoot. No one's stopping you from setting up, creating a set, finding someone to work with. You are the only thing that's stopping you. If you want to progress as a career, now we got to look at what you created and is somebody else going to want it?
Right. And, you know, people will find you, I've talked about this before, for your style if you stick with it. If you chase other people's styles, you will not have a long career.
Yeah, right.
You'll just be bouncing back and forth. You'll be the person that can shoot like other people, and that's never how you get the most money, never how you get the best clients. You want to create a unique style that's your own, and that comes from you. You know, it's so much more than a technique, right? A technique is not a style.
Well, you also don't want to chase the trend. You want to create a trend, right?
Exactly.
So there's plenty of times that we both have people go like, can you shoot like this? And we're like, that's cool, but what if? And then pitch. It doesn't hurt to pitch some twist on it.
Yeah, my favorite thing is when somebody comes to me and says, "Could you do something like this?" And it's my shot. I'm like, yeah, I could do that.
Well, I'm sorry. There's like so much. I feel like we're
so much chat.
I'm
all right.
This is, by the way, Daniel's hosting today, so this is all on Daniel.
It's my fault, but that's because I'm talking to you and the things behind me.
Yeah, welcome to my life.
Setup.
I got to deal with this. I got to break my neck doing that.
After
I don't want to hear
I'm gonna
nothing.
give Seth suggestions on how we should change this setup.
Do you know how? You know what teching your demos is like? Do you have any clue what I go through with you?
Do a great job, and you stand.
Yeah. This is Daniel. 40%. Where's that menu? Why is it stuck on this focus setting?
Well, I don't know why it's doing that.
You are the drunken master of this industry. I swear. You just show up and you're like, I don't know, my shoes untied, but we're going to shoot something high end. Let's go. And it's like, but you do an amazing job at it. The one thing I don't think Daniel gets credit enough for is what you guys might now, especially if you are new to our platforms. If just like I said, it's hard to find a topic and stick to it. This used to do the same topic every single week, 3 different ways, noon, 3 p.m. and 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
He'd come here and do the 12 p.m. one, which wasn't streamed. When I came in, we started streaming the 3 p.m. to Facebook, which was awful.
Yep.
And then he did it a different way for 5 p.m., which was to YouTube, for over a decade.
Yeah.
To not even run out of topics, let alone be able to do it at a level, is so rare. I just think I still hate him, but he deserves a lot of respect because a lot of us wouldn't be doing this if he didn't set the baseline for it. I would not be doing this. I never thought this was a thing. I never knew what to do when teaching stuff. I just knew to shoot live, but I watched the way he would explain and what was important to explain. And I don't think we would even, and I'm not being like hyperbolic here. I don't think you'd see a lot of what you have today at your fingertips if it was for Daniel, the way he did and the way he set the tone and built this original event space for it to be what it is today, including leading up to this 100th episode. So he deserves a lot more respect and praise for what he's given to this industry and never asked for anything back. So
yeah, and yet I've never been a guest twice
You were like the second guest. It's never enough for
Never
you.
asked me back.
You're like the worst. I swear. You're like God. Like, oh yeah, it's precious.
It's like, oh, you want to be on again? You have to host though. Like I have nothing new to say. No, but seriously, going back to what you were talking about, one of the reasons why I started doing this, I mean, I thank Annie Cahill who made me, but it's because
man.
what you were talking about, people would come up and they'd be like, here's the lights, and then click, and then you'd have this fully retouched picture. And I'm like, what, huh? You know, and you could see people thinking like they should know what's happening and they don't understand it. They're too embarrassed to admit it.
Well,
right?
do you remember the demo that I got pissed off about that made me do the first demo? Do you remember that?
Was it the
Remember that?
No. I mean, I probably will when you tell me.
I walked in here. Daniel was
the iPads.
Daniel was off for the day.
Oh.
I thought Daniel was doing a demo. It wasn't. It was some guy, really nice guy. But the first line I hear him say is, everything studio lighting that they're trying to sell you, the lights are a lie.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I guess I'm going to sit down now. And he was trying to show everything with speed lights. And then he was getting these horrible hot spots on this girl's face.
Oh, that's right.
And I was like, he's like, oh, it's because of the ambient light. And I'm like, no, it's not. These lights are not making that specular highlight. So I yelled at him like, okay, so turn off the flash and take a photo and then show me there's a specular. Like, he goes, I'll do one better. And he sits there and edits the images live. And I was like, I think I could do this. Like, I could totally do this live. I think I could do it. And I did a speedlight demo. My first demo was a speedlight demo. But we both have done demos out of spite over bad demos we've seen other people do.
Yeah, that's
your
true.
speedlight demo that was out of spite was legendary. That was amazing. Same model, everything. I was like, wow, you were like on a mission. Yeah, Daniel's evil. Like, he's really, you guys don't get it. He talks about trash about all you guys in the chat. When you're not looking, he hates all of you.
Trash.
He hates all of you.
Well, you know, Seth almost worked at Adorama. Remember?
Oh,
There was, no names, but there was this guy that they had hired, and he would come in a suit. None of these people are here anymore. So, and he was a pro, and I'd watch him walk around talking to people, and he was the most clueless person. And then I'd see customers leaving, and I'd like stop them and be like, "What did he tell you?" I'm like, "That's wrong," and I'd have to fix everything. And I'm like, I went to the store manager. I said, "If I can get a better guy, can we get rid of this guy?" And they said, "Yeah." And that's what I went Seth to do. That never happened.
Daniel looked like a watchdog. Just like, he would have his hands like this and he'd be like squinty and staring at this guy. And I'm like, who is this guy? What is he saying that's so bad? And he looked like a magician. Do you remember that? So I don't even know the guy's name, but so Dan goes like, "Hey, I'll give you some money to stand here." I was like, "That's a job?" And he's like, "Well, I'm like, you know, I'll do it between gigs or whatever." And he was like, "All right, come back in like a week or whatever." And never happened. And I was like, what are you trying to do? And then eventually you were just trying to make it a space for people to not just have to come to a store because they need a shop, but come to it because they're part of this.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we don't want people to get bad information. Like,
there
that's
was
the
so
worst.
much.
I mean, the number of people who come in, let's say, to a store or whatever, thinking they need something and they just need information is tremendous, right? And that's one of the things that we started doing before there was events, before there was anything. The number of people that would come in, they'd be like, "I need lights," and I'd be like, "Why?" And they'd be like, "My pictures are dark." And I'm like, "Okay," you know, and then start working through what they're doing, and you realize they're just not saying the camera's correct, they're not whatever, and they would leave. But that's how you build a community, right? That's how we do. That's just like, you don't lie to people. And if you don't know, if somebody comes to you with a question, a client comes to you, right, and they're just like, "I need this." If you can do it, you do it, right? If they don't need it, you don't sell it to them. I mean, I just felt like that was
I just think that everywhere you went at the time, it was egos,
you know,
and they would either not tell you the whole information or not want to help you or look down on you, which was the worst ever. And I think there was a lot of, and this isn't putting anyone down, but like a camera club kind of thing where everyone's on the same level trying to teach each other. So no one's elevating.
right.
And I think we kind of needed that, but I think everything needs that. I think like hardware stores should do that. Like Daniel Norton needs to learn how to do electric work because you've almost killed me twice in our studio.
Listen, I told you to wear rubber boots.
My man was like, "I think this breaker's off." Twice, that breaker is not off.
Right.
Well,
now we knew.
it was like a shotgun to the chest. It hurts so bad.
And then I had to fix everything in the dark.
That's true.
So
That's true. With a Swiss Army knife, which was kind of impressive. And then you did a video.
That thing, I have no idea.
And then you did a video for your channel. Things I carry every day. It was like a Swiss Army knife. It was like, oh my god.
So yeah, we've shared a studio for a while, so we have a lot of stories.
But I think you want to surround yourself with people you respect and you feel are better than you. I feel like you always want to you want to siphon from above you a bit. I mean, being able to assist the people I got to assist, I'm thankful every day. But like, I don't know. Me and Dan kind of push each other. Like, there's many times I wouldn't even felt like shooting, but then Dan started shooting. I was like, you know what? I could do better than him. What's he doing? And you said angry. There was one time you shot with Marissa with a Hasselblad and like a beauty dish, and I was like, oh, they're so good. I was like, well, Marissa, what are you doing next week? I got.
Was that when you got those black and white shots?
No, that was years
those are
later.
great.
Thank you. She hated those shots, but then Marissa, like a year later, was like, I actually really like these because they're not retouched. And I was like, yeah, I was trying to show you like your scars are amazing and all this stuff, and
to me, that's like the best portrait. Like if I shoot a portrait and the person doesn't initially like it, but then later they love it, that's like great, right? Because it's like the initial bounce back of like people are always trying to make somebody look better instead of what they really look like, right?
Yeah, but it's those sessions where it's like off the clock, it's minimal gear, 1v1. That's when you really get to be everything you cultivated yourself to be, because you can only shoot as you are at that moment, where you came from, what your experience is, the way you're feeling. You bring it all to that time you're about to go shoot. And when you're doing it for everybody else for so long, and when you genuinely strip it all away and you're just like really on the pulse of what you're trying to shoot, it doesn't get better than that. I think there's shots. I think it's important for every photographer to shoot things that no one will ever see.
Right.
And shots that only you want to see. And I have endless files that I know. I mean, when I'm dead, Dan could probably find them, but I don't know.
We'll dig them out.
Yeah, we'll dig them out.
And I'll sell all the cool cameras he's got too, like this Olympus. If anybody's interested in this.
No, I'm not selling that. I do have a lot of cameras I got to get rid of though. I'm drowning in gear in my apartment.
Well, that happens, right? Because as we progress, there is a certain, like there is this like silver bullet idea, like a better camera. But like sometimes for me, it's like a format thing, right? Like I'll buy like oddball things because I think they'll force me to shoot differently. Like I just bought a view camera, right? Which I already have. Seth says I'm never going to use it.
Yes,
I
we
haven't
know.
used it yet.
Oh, if you guys didn't know, because he's been telling everybody every 5 minutes, he bought a deer dog.
No, I did not get a deer dog. It fits a 5x7, 4x5 reducing back.
These are the guys that don't actually shoot. They just talk about their gear. I just want to say that, right?
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful
yeah,
camera.
Just walking around.
It's so
never
nice.
use it.
I have it up on a tripod.
You're never going to do anything with that.
Seth's going to make me shoot with it by saying I'm never going to use it.
Bring it to imaging.
I walked by joking with Angel, and I'm like, oh, where's my deer dove? I want a deer dove. And Jeffrey was like, I got one.
Also, that's also a cool thing of this space is like Jeffrey Berliner's hanging around and he just happens to have a deer dove. So he's going to take Daniel's money and scam him.
Yeah,
but like,
definitely.
But also, if you guys are going to imaging in 2027, me and Dan are building a giant camera obscura at this show.
Yes, we are.
Like you're going to be able to walk in there. So that's similar to that print is kind of what we're doing. So if you're going to be thinking about going to that show, we're coming hard. We're doing it. So
yeah, they were when they asked me about it, and I was like, we're gonna need like about 20 strobes, and they were like, okay, that's always nice. There's nothing better than 20 strobes.
They don't question anything.
Yeah,
I will say I'm a little skeptical of Professional Photographers America's blind trust in us.
Yes,
like they've never questioned anything.
Yeah, we're not even wearing suits.
They don't give us deadlines. They're like, yeah. I don't know.
But in some ways, that's like the ideal client, right? Is like somebody who trusts your artistic vision and knows you're going to get it done, and then they leave you to hang if you don't. So thankfully we get it done.
Wait, Kevin in the chat is saying, I can't even count how many dumb photography questions I've asked Daniel and Seth over the years, and they never once looked down upon me for it. No, it's after we're done being live. We talk a lot of trash about you guys.
Yeah, so much trash.
So much trash. Well, you're this random screen name guy. Remember that guy? Oh, God, we're hitting time, guys. If you guys want to ask any questions, go for it. I feel bad we ignored you because I talk to Dan every day. I don't know why we're doing this. But we did 100 episodes of this podcast. I keep thinking, was it really 100? I'm like, yeah, it really was. I look back at when this started 2.5 years ago or so.
So that's 23? A perfect segue.
Oh, boy.
To my last question. How do you manage, right, to make everybody seem interesting?
Oh, jeez.
Like I'm serious. Like I watch these things and I'm not saying that, hey, listen, guests I know at least one guest was interesting, Jeffrey Berliner. But
Jeffrey was amazing.
He's awesome. But, like everybody who comes in, you kind of like, a bit about them.
That's the most Daniel delivery I've ever
Well, because it's impressive, honestly. And it's like you can... And I think I know, but I want you to talk a little bit about like why you can sit down with just about anybody in the creative industry and talk with them for an hour and make it interesting.
Wow. One, I don't think they'd be on this show if there wasn't something to talk about. But two, talk to any creative. If you just let them talk about what they care about, it will come across interesting because they really care about it. And I try not to step over while they're talking. In the end, why am I bringing them on here and giving? Oh shoot! Why am I giving them time on here and your time, right? So I don't think I'll. You know what? Honestly, the answer I've gone speed dating, and if I can survive that,
There you go.
I'll tell you. You want to sharpen your social skills? 15 minutes with people you don't want to talk to over and over again.
Yeah.
And then try to make it like interesting. But I think in the end, people are doing something. If you look at the guests, it's not just like who's popular or whatever. I want them to be somebody that's actually doing something. If I had just photographers on here, you would hear the same thing. So, oh, the best camera's the one you got in your hand, huh? Oh, who inspires you? Like the same garbage over and over again. I get it. We all shoot. We got it. What are you doing? What are you really applying it to? That's what's interesting, right? So if they care about something, they'll bring it. And half the time, you'll look at a project and go, I don't get it, until they explain why they're in it.
Sure.
And there's been so many projects that I think at face value, like, I don't know, it's just a bunch of old people in chairs. No, these are a couple that are going through cancer in their 80s together. And like, okay, now we're in it, right? Oh, there's the Mercer. Yeah. Oh, let me on. Oh, yeah. No, you can't.
I can't do it. I haven't got the fingerprint. No, and I think that's interesting. I think you nailed it right there. Is that what I think is that people need to feel comfortable when they are engaging with you, and then they will open up, right? And I think that you make people feel comfortable. I think it's important because you show them respect. You show them that you're interested in what they're doing, even if you're not really. No,
don't you think that's innate to being photographers? You get people in front of your lens and you're like, I got to break this so they trust me to get 10 minutes of shots out of them.
100%. And I think that is the key. I always say, if you want to be a photographer that photographs people, you got to be a people person. Forget about the camera, forget about the lights. You've got to make people feel comfortable.
I hate everybody, but I look at it like mentally picking their pocket, right? Like, I need you to look here and I'm going to grab your wallet.
Right.
Like, I know what will get you psyched. I only got to deal with you for I can't get rid of you.
Yeah,
I got to deal with you. Every time a text comes through, I'm like, oh, how angry am I going to get right now? What did he just volunteer me for? Why do I got to go find the world's largest ice cream cone to photograph something for a video? Like, it is what it is.
It's always a fun project. Come on.
I will say there's times that I'm like, if Dan's there, it'll be funny at least. Yeah. Like, at least there'll be some, like, it's important to find someone that makes you want to be on a set. And I think there's like, for example, a million years ago, actually, it was a long time ago, I had to do a 7-hour-long live stream for PPA.
Oh, yeah.
And if you watch, I did a video on it, and you can actually watch the sun going through the sky in the time lapse. But if you watch that time lapse, Dan came by every now and then because, like, so now he's like, so what are you doing? Oh, what'd you get into? Oh, that's a good way to do that. Oh, I would do this. I would jump off that. Because having someone's perspective that you respect and are trust, they're the other eyes in the back of your head. Like, you're not going to see everything no matter how good you are. You're not going to think of everything no matter how good you are. And so just having someone around you peripherally that understands the way you work and how you work and what you're trying to do, it's important. I think it's important you guys go find that for yourselves, even if it's virtually. If I see you guys know each other in the chat every week, so I think, and I think you got to give yourself credit. You built this, Dan. I mean, this all came through. Onset went for 300 billion episodes.
No.
You sat on your porch and talked about nothing.
Yeah, it's true.
And you still won't stop going live. I mean, I still have to come in on Thursdays for you.
That's how people know I'm around. I go live here.
That's how I know Dan's not dead. I'm like, oh, he's here. All right, great.
Yeah, I just think it's. I love the challenge, and I think that's part of what it is. There is times where we have pressure, we're stressed, it's hard, right? You're under a deadline, but it's always a great challenge. And I used to work for this one photographer, and we would be having the most terrible photo shoot. Nothing's working, everything's falls apart, and they'd be getting frustrated. And also they'd be like, you know what? This is going to be a funny story someday.
Yeah,
that's what I always think about it.
I don't get that. It takes me a while to get to that point. I mean,
someday.
I hate wasting time.
Yeah.
And nothing's more irritating than like something falling apart and you're not going to get done. Then you got to do a reshoot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. I just, no, can't happen. But I think in the end, we both feel fortunate that we get to do this, no matter how hard it gets, no matter how frustrating it gets. no matter how long goes for, no matter how many days you don't stop. I mean, although you shut off your phone, I can't get you for like
I
3
do shut
days.
off my phone. Yeah,
It's like I'm watching my text come up on your iWatch or whatever, and like you're not answering me. It's like you drive me nuts.
I ignore them. Yeah.
You're playing Dungeons and Dragons with
That's
your
right.
belt buckle. Like I can't. Yeah. What do you think? I don't know.
Wait till you see the belt buckle.
It is a pretty cool belt buckle. It's like a trophy or something. You want it? You want it?
I
Right?
want it. Yeah.
You want it? Yeah. I don't. I also think it's important to find something that's not this, that you're as
Exactly.
psyched about. And I think you've definitely found that with D&D and your community there. Everything that you can easily get into quicksand and just get inundated by this and think everything you eat and breathe has to be this to be better at this. When you actually realize it's everything you bring from outside to it that will then make you unique and elevate. So when I was getting tattooed, it was like, oh, you got to get a camera on your chest and all that. Like, I don't want anything photo related.
Right.
Everything on me brings it to the photo related things. Like, I don't need to.
No, that's perfect. I was just saying this morning, I was like, sometimes, like if I need an idea or something, I don't sit and look at photos. I don't write. I just like go for a walk. Right. I look at the world. I enjoy my life.
He's such
and
an
then
old
an
man.
idea will come.
He's such an old man. Do
Yeah,
you
I
feed
go to the
pigeons?
park. I feed the pigeons.
No ducks though.
No ducks.
They don't deserve it.
Ducks can fend for themselves.
No, I think it's important. I think that's probably what I'm so burnt out from is like not unplugging because even when we're done with this, we have our own platform.
That's right.
Like when I'm not here, I feel so guilty. I'm not doing something for my own channel, even though I haven't posted there in a while. What you guys don't know is like the hundreds of videos I never finished, never will finish or get outdated. I'm like, great, that was a waste of time.
Yeah.
But it's weird. You deal with that too. It's like you feel like you should be doing something. Like, why am I doing this? I'm replaying Sekiro right now, and I'm like, why am I playing this game? I should be doing this. But if you're not in the headspace to film yourself or talk, it's going to be a bad video.
Exactly.
It's going to be a bad message. So what are you doing?
No sense in putting out anything, photos, content, whatever, that's not good, right? That's not a
if you're not feeling it and it's out there forever, it's the worst feeling ever.
Sometimes it's worth trying. I mean, I used to share a studio with a guy, a product photographer, and it would drive me nuts because I didn't get it. But he would sit there like for 2-3 days, like shooting this product, pulling Polaroids.
First of all, product guys are psychos.
Yeah. And then sometimes he would be like, you know what? It's just not what I want. And you take it down.
Oh, wow.
Like you literally just spent 2 days on that and you didn't. He's like, I'm not going to put this in my portfolio. It's like.
Yeah. Joe said that once. He was like, I'm not going to show this to anyone. I'm good.
Yeah.
He said that when I was like, wow.
And he was done, you know?
Like,
and I'd be like, wow, you just wasted much time. But he's like, no, I didn't because I learned. And next time I'll do something better.
Or did you save yourself the time of constantly chasing, forever?
Something that's not going to be anything. Yeah.
Oh, Heidi, what's going on? She's in my Monday streams every time. Seth, the skills for interviewing, reading the chat while listening to guests. Yeah, I think I just have schizophrenia. I'll be honest with you. When I'm done streaming, nothing makes me more exhausted than streaming.
Right.
When I get done, my brain is going a million miles an hour. I can't focus on one thing at a time. You just talked for an hour or two. I cannot calm down from it. It just really drives me crazy. I had to stop Twitch because I couldn't go to sleep. I couldn't finish anything.
I don't have that problem. I have Seth on the thing.
That's true.
And he keeps me in line.
Well, now I'm training Joe, who's going to do the switcher tonight for the first time for me for my demo tonight at 5. So if you guys are around later, I'll be doing character lighting where we're going to create an atmosphere and narrative with light. Get a little grimy with it because I think we've been doing too much pretty stuff lately.
Yeah.
So let's get a little grimy with it. That's this QR code here. I'll put up this stuff. I don't know, Dan, what else you got?
I got nothing.
You got nothing?
I got nothing. In episode 200, we'll come back and see if Seth is doing anything different.
Wow. Can you imagine what 200?
Yeah, well, just do one a day. You'll be done quick.
If you think about it, if you did one a week, 52 weeks, like, that's going to little bit of.
Yeah, I think you guys want to see another 100 episodes.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you guys here. And I think you guys also contribute to the clips that get cut out for social, which helps out everybody tremendously. Also, you got to realize that those comments on those episodes mean everything to the guest.
Right.
They came on here and gave their time and shared everything they got for you. They just want to know where it went and who it went to and what landed. So don't be shy to drop a comment, even saying like, this was great. Thanks for sharing. Anything goes a long way with these people. And I'm not kidding you. No one's paid to be on here. They're all just volunteering their time to be part of this. So.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was just having a conversation with somebody. They were like, how come like somebody wouldn't necessarily get up on a stage and do a demo for free, but they'll come to a podcast? And I think it's exactly what you're saying. Oftentimes a podcast is you're allowed to kind of speak your mind and kind of let loose.
You don't got to carry gear. You don't got to shoot. Are you kidding me? I'm drenched.
There's a lot of people that do demos get paid, don't carry gear.
Dude, every demo I do, I walk out of here drenched. Like I think it looks like a garage sale in here when I'm done.
Yeah.
Although you said to me once, you're the only guy I know that sounds like he's about to get into a fight every time he's doing a demo. I was like, I wonder what he mean. I always thought, what do you mean by that?
Well, it's true. It works for you though. So there you go.
If there isn't a conflict or something to get a solution to, what are we doing a demo on?
Right. Exactly.
I don't understand. Let's make the same thing we've done a million times. No, I think tonight I'm going to do something based on Alan Wake. I don't know. I don't know. I got a really good model. He's an actor. Brent's coming in.
Oh, Brent. Okay.
Brent's a very cool actor. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. But you guys have seen all the other demos. I don't know, man. You're the one hosting, so you.
Okay, I'm hosting. I did not watch the end, so I don't know what we're supposed to do now. But I'm assuming you're supposed to subscribe to the channel, maybe follow Seth. He's Last X Witness. The X is silent. This QR code somewhere. Come tonight and watch the thing. Press the button, end it. You're good.
20 years. 20 years of this. Okay, I just want you guys to know that.
I'm not good at dismounts.
Guys, do me a favor. There's 99 other episodes on this playlist of about 95 other guests. So go check them out if you were into this one. This was a weird one. I don't know what's going on. Daniel Norton wandered in here one day aimlessly, and he's never left. Do me a favor, hit subscribe on this channel. Also, check out the events channel where everything else that we stream out of this space goes to that channel, except for his demos, because Daniel's special.
I am special.
Other than that, I'm live at 5 later today on that channel, Adorama Events. If you're not subscribed to that, also hit the bell because it's almost all live and you're going to want to be on that chat. If you can't join the chat, you can watch the replay after, but you're also always welcome in these chairs anytime you're in New York, 42 West 18th Street, right here in the Flatiron District. Daniel Norton, that is how you do a sign-off. I'll see you on the next one, boss. Peace, guys. Later.